Tuesday. As always, I want to say thank you to our sponsors. We have Hy-Vee, Unity Point Health, Trinity Muscatine, Muscatine Power and Water, Becky Insurance, Toyota of Muscatine, Rivo Plumbing and Heating, Impact Fitness and Nutrition, Suntan City, Lutheran Living Senior Campus, Impact Life Blood Center, Harper Cycling and Fitness, and Muscatine County Fair and Fair of Muscatine. Some things that are happening today: join the GMCCI for a ribbon cutting ceremony that is going to take place at Family Eye Center today at 5:30 p.m. Family Eye Center has expanded and renovated their entire building, so join them for an open house tour of their new suites and being able to see some of their dry ice suites and enjoy some beautiful refreshments and door prizes. So that is today at 5:30 for Family Eye Center. So join the GMCCI and have a wonderful evening. And also, today from 9 to 4, West Hill Cakery solemnly swears that they are up to no good today. They are celebrating everything magical in the Harry Potter and Wizarding world. And it's not just their cakes that they are celebrating. So grab your robe, your wand, and your spell book and come down and spend the day with them and test out your magic skills. So you can make your own wand, potions with crafts at the Muscatine Art Center, get sorted into your Hogwarts house. If you didn't know, I'm a Slytherin. And also just enjoy some delicious sorting treats. So come over, enjoy some spells, some treats, and just have a wonderful time. This is open for all ages, big and small. So go out, and they are open from 9 to 4 today to celebrate Harry Potter and the Wizarding world. And also just a reminder that this weekend is the Village Dog Days of Summerfest. That is going place from 11 to 3. That is going to be in the upper area of Weed Park. Nail trims, micro-tripping, photo booth. There's going to be a mutt strut so your dog can show off their tricks. Bring your kids, bring your puppies. And if you are an alumni of It Takes a Village, be sure to bring those pups because they want to see all of their fosters and also being able to visit some old furry friend pals. So that is from 11 to 3 this weekend. My guests today are Mark and Ryan, and they're going to be talking about some magic, but not in the Wizarding world kind of way. Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
So introduce yourselves and tell us what you do at MPW.
My name is Mark Yarrington. I'm the manager of GIS and CAD technology at Muscatine Power and Water. And on the day-to-day, we provide GIS services to also the city and county within the community.
I'm Ryan Streck. I'm the Director of Utility Service Delivery, and I love the tie from magic spells to magic dog tricks and magic and all the things that Mark and his team do for us. I'm the Director of Utility Service Delivery, and one of those services that we deliver is the fine work that Mark and his team do to visualize all these things that we have going on, and we're going to show you some of those today.
So obviously we're not talking about magic, but what kind of magic are we talking about today?
So MAGIC stands for the Muscatine Area Geographic Information Consortium, which is a partnership between the city of Muscatine, Muscatine County, and Muscatine Power and Water are the three principal partners. We have two affiliate members that are the City of Wilton and the City of West Liberty. And being an affiliate just means that they have no voting rights within our board. So on our board, there's 6 members, two MPW Board of Trustees, 2 City Council members, and then 2 Muscatine County Board members. And they do the voting and set our goals and objectives within the MAGIC organization.
Wow, that's a great community there.
Yeah, it's really a way to have a shared service. It was actually formed back in 1999. There's very few partnerships like this across the country. We've worked with many different other cities and counties trying to do something like this, but they've never been able to bring something this integrated together. And in Iowa, we have a thing called a Chapter 28E of Iowa Code that allows partnerships, shared services within local governments to share something with the same goals and objectives, which is GIS. It allows us to create a budget for that and share for those services. And we share projects such as imagery, flying aerial imagery, which is a large cost. Prior to 1999, each entity was really investing in that imagery cost on their own. So each entity had their own imagery. So it's really a way to pull things together.
It also offers us some significant savings from the vendors like Esri. I think we get a really good licensing deal because we do have this status. So there's advantages for all partners in this consortium.
Yeah, a lot of your other cities and counties, they have each entity has their own license agreement, whereas Magic provides that shared service and that shared budget to share in that cost of that license. So it's spread out over more entities and more customers, really. So.
And it's a little bit more on the saving sides too, that you all are working together rather than just being an individual town and base.
Correct. Yes, you know, I mean, as far as the partnership goes, I do know that there is one like this in the city of Cincinnati, and then maybe a couple in Nebraska, but something that's this integrated with it, share that cost from licensing and is actually a true governmental agency. It's actually a sector of our government. There isn't many across the country that I'm aware of.
And I'm guessing you just said the only one within the Iowa area too.
That I'm aware of, the only one that's as integrated as this. There's some shared costs, but they don't provide the GIS services to each entity. So we're able to help those smaller members of our county, like the city of Wilton, city of West Liberty, that probably would not be able to afford high-end GIS services, or they would be contracting with an outside engineering firm to do things like that, and we can bring it in at a much reduced cost for them, providing it as a local government entity. So
I think that's neat, and I mean everything that we already do within the Muscatine County, just this is one more thing to add to that.
Yeah, for sure. You know, you think aerial imagery. Every time we coordinate our aerial imagery projects through Bi-State, which is out of the Quad Cities. All of those members, they have to coordinate with all their smaller cities to pool some funding together to help with the overall cost, whereas we just fund it and then get reimbursed from our entities or our partners.
It's one less step you actually have to do to get the process going.
Yes, every 4 years, 5 years we do an imagery project, they all have to redo the cost share of every entity up there. So it's a nice way to do it for us. You know, one of the big things that we do here locally is really provide tools to make quick, informed decisions within our entities. We're having a robust. We've been building this GIS system for 20 years, 22, 23 years. It really kind of is the talk started around 1999, but we really didn't get formed until that 2000, 2001 time frame. We actually got members into the community to start building the GIS system. And I like to look at it as, you know, a system that is going to be an information model into the future. We're building a lot of different information, and we're building it accurately going forward. One of the things that we're doing with the city and county is we're mapping all of the patching that's going on within the city of Muscatine. So there's within the city of Muscatine, or actually across the state of Iowa, the Iowa DOT drives our road segments every road mile and across the state every 4 years, and it's done for free as part of our DOT partnership. With that, the Center for Transportation Research and Education at Iowa State compiles that data that comes off of these vans with sensors and imaging and things like that. And in this calculation, it's called PCI, or Pavement Condition Index. And so that puts a number to our road segments and tells us how good or how poor they are. And there's many factors that go into that. One of the primary weighted factors of that is our cracking on our local roads. That shows us that there's significant deterioration. And when we have a lot of that, it's going to cause the road to really need to be fully replaced. One of the things that we've been tracking and targeting lately is doing full depth concrete reconstruction on all of our road segments, and I think you'll see here the red areas are some patching areas that we're trying trying to keep track of. And then we have a ranking system on all of our roads. And like I said, that's got roughness, it's got rutting, it's got cracking. All those things are factored into that calculation so that we have a good model of what our road segments are. And then we also can just, with the software that's provided from our vendor that drives all the roads, we can actually go back and visually inspect because they're capturing imagery of all the roads as well.
Oh, wow.
So we can see the cracks in
too.
real time. So it's a great service. Iowa State, C-Tree is the Center for Transportation Research and Education. They're a great group to work with. And they're really trying to provide the locals the benefit of their service. And it really, for us, it doesn't cost us anything to do that. It's all provided by the state and the DOT.
One thing I really like about Magic is everything at the output of that is this great visualization that you immediately understand what you're looking at. A lot of things we deal with comes in 30, 40-page reports, and you have to go through that information and try to figure out, okay, which are the worst streets. When you have that map and it's all right there and you've got them color-coded, it just tells you that story right away, and it makes you familiar with the information so quickly. And that's what I love about it is the data is fantastic, but it's those visualizations that just make the data useful really quickly. That's what I appreciate so much about what they do.
Remind me again, how long has this process been going on for now, Magic?
It's about since 1999.
Okay.
Yep.
I could not imagine reading a 40-page stacked book of just trying to read the streets. Visualization is just so much easier. That map is so efficient that you can see, okay, this is the next one, maybe this is going to be our next route. And I mean, how long are you planning street by street at that point?
Yeah, I mean, it really provides you that prioritization tool because it's putting a number to the road. I mean, and it's an arbitrary, transparent number. It's not provided by us, it's provided by some high-tech sensors that are put on our road segments. You know, of course, traffic volumes are a weighting factor, but again, those are provided to us by the DOT. They do traffic counts on our roads on an annual basis, and some of our primary roads, and the non-primary roads they'll do every 5 to 10 years, something like that. So it really provides us a tool to, again, you know, this information is available to our public works departments to pull up with all of us, you know, our utility, our county, to make those decisions on where our investments are going to go next. And that's what these interactive tools and this information are going to share with us. Another thing I like about the patching on the roads that we're collecting, that it's going to tell us is that working? Is that the right treatment model for that road segment, or should have we done a full reconstruction? It's much cheaper to do just a patching project.
Yep.
So the hope is that, and engineering has shown us that does work well, but you never know what the base or the materials are underneath of it. So we need to keep track of those areas that we are doing this full depth patching. So that investment is a sound decision into the future. So.
Yeah, you really don't know until you truly break into it.
Yep.
So talk to us a little bit more about the Muscatine sewer system then.
Okay, so the sewer system, that was a large project started by a former collection and drainage supervisor, Matt Chandler. He really was forward thinking, I would say, in building a sewer model for our community that we can find every asset of the sewer system now, and we GPS, we survey collected all that information with a high accuracy GPS unit. So every manhole that's in this community, every catch basin that's in this community that collects the water has been GPSed with survey accuracy down to the centimeter level.
Wow.
And then every manhole lid has been flipped and laser shot down in there to get the pipe depths on everything within the community as well. So for planning purposes, the one large project that we have going on right now is West Hill Sewer Separation Project. We're trying to separate that old combination sewer that has been around for years and years. And as far as when all of this information is under the ground, so we don't really know where it's at until we had somebody locally that knows where everything's at. And he was able to map all that information and actually to find all those old hidden manholes out behind a tree or under, underground. He actually had the former collection and drainage supervisor come back who had 40 years of experience, and he drove around with us on these roads, and we found all those areas that we may be missing some of those manholes that it's imperative to find. If anyone's ever had a sewer backup or something like that, being able to get into the manhole and flush the sewer line out is imperative to keeping the homeowners from having a disaster like that.
I would never think a manhole would be hidden.
Yeah, they're buried. They're buried under, and we know every one of them that's buried and where it's at.
Okay.
And so yeah, and we've really worked, and that's kind of how they prioritize their projects, to bring all the manholes to the surface so that they're easy to access and they don't have to dig them up into the future. So yeah, there was manholes under road segments that were buried under asphalt and concrete, and that's how you would have to dig that out and cut that out to be able to access it if in the case of an emergency.
So did you just go, so in that sense, you just go and kind of raise the pipeline for it?
You raise the whole manhole lid to the surface. Yep.
All right.
Yep.
You see this a lot when they're like repaving or asphalting a street. The crews do a great job, but once in a while they'll go over a water main lid or something small, and then we needed to shut off the water main. So it's great to have those accurate measurements. And it's great to share things like this because it gives people good ideas on how they can make their job better. Keith Miller from our metering department recently started using GPS to grab all the shots on new curb stops in like a new subdivision. Well, when the subdivisions are new, you can see them all and it's really easy to find them, but you can't get measurements off of the house because there's no houses built yet.
Yeah.
But he started using this so he can go out and grab those shots early, and then when they're moving dirt around and covering them up as they're building homes, they can call us and we can help them find that curb stop again. So we keep finding new ways where we can utilize this technology, and it just pays dividends.
Yeah, the more accuracy you can provide, the better off we are as a servants to the customers.
And correct me if I'm wrong, I think we used to talk about sub-meter accuracy.
Usually and mapping grade, it was always sub-meter. Technologies came a long ways.
But now, what's our accuracy now?
Centimeter level accuracy, yeah. So anything that we collect, and we're really empowering our workforce to have, like he mentioned, Keith Miller, our water crews, our boring crews, anytime they uncover an asset, they're able to use the GPS technology that we have, and they use it right in their day-to-day maps that they pull up on their tablets, and they're collecting that information in real time for us. So it's not the GIS department or the CAD department or the engineering department going out and collecting this accurate information. It's actually our crews that they own the assets out there because that's what they take care of for us on a day-to-day basis. They know those assets.
And you don't have to wait for a report to come back. You don't have to wait for a phone call. They're able to send that off and be directly back to you, like the
I see it
MPW
instantaneously.
location.
If I was looking for it, I would see it as soon as they shot it. I would see it automatically.
I love that.
Back in the office.
Easy. You don't have to wait for your 40-pound or your 40-page report back.
No.
So as we continue through this, talk to us a little bit about how the GSI involves within police and fire departments too.
So the fire departments, we've worked with them quite a bit over the years. One of the projects that we worked with them on was trying to identify drive times to every area of the community. So there's certain fire department standards that they like to meet. So we actually built a road network. It's kind of like your Google Maps, but we built a local road network here where we could actually quantify drive time across the community, and we could have turn values for, say, a fire truck, and we're not leveraging that Google technology that's kind of a global turn value. We're actually trying to hone in and give us good drive time values to members of the community as far as response times to the areas. With our current station location layout, we're always looking to find the areas that maybe we're not getting to quickly enough, and so that we were able to work with them on that. We're also heavily involved in what's called the NG 911 project from the state of Iowa.
Okay.
So 911 response is going to go to a GIS base or a spatial base format. You know, we used to have the old phone records. You know, we're kind of getting away from the landline phones. Well, now our cell phones, we can target and we can pinpoint you down based on a GIS or a GPS location, an XY coordinate.
Yep.
And the state of Iowa started this initiative. I want to say, I was trying to think about this morning. It was probably 6 years ago, and we're still not fully into this model because it's, you know, you're talking about response to saving a life or providing medical services. But we have to send them our addressing, our street center lines, our fire district boundaries, so that we know what fire department or EMS department would respond, or police department. And so we work heavily with Muscom, Chris Jasper down at Muscom, to be able to provide that information to the state level. And it's just a great community project. It's a great state project. So we get ranked on how accurate our information is, and Muscatine's always running 99, 100% accuracy on our addressing in coordination with our street center lines. So there's a little bit that goes into that behind the scenes. You know, if we don't have address points, we can locate people based on their range, which they're on a road segment. And so if you have that digitally, we can pinpoint you down to at least that address range on that road segment. So all that has to match up, and then we can target you down to a very accurate location, whereas the landline phones are kind of going away. You know, tabular information's kind of
the way that you just said, I'm going to target you down. I'm going to find you.
Yeah.
You're precise. So you're talking about in relation to like the GPS within in someone's phone and trying to find them. You always hear on like the TV murder, crime, mystery shows, like, well, their GPS is turned off. So you were talking about the street GIS and the GPS. That's kind of that second route.
Secondary. You know, that would be secondary to where that last ping was. And I don't know all the technology that goes into locating a cell phone. But yeah, so it would locate you to the cell sector first. So there's certain panes off of a cell tower that you're located in, and then it can increase your accuracy as you keep going down to those different levels of locational awareness.
Well, you just said you don't know, but it sounds like you do, though.
Yeah.
You've got.
We've been exposed to a little bit. I mean, a little bit of it, but I don't know how the back end of the cell phone technology. If your GPS was shut off, I'm not sure. How that would locate you.
But all that sounded great. That was all good information there. So let's talk about, and I hope that we're getting out of this season, the flood areas season, even though last night's storm was a very interesting one. I had our little patio screen flipped on us, and shout out to Tony Tone, he puts on his Ring videos. He was catching inflatables at 5 in the morning. So let's talk about the flood zone areas and how that's going to help.
Yeah, so again, at the state level, the state of Iowa is really trying to define flood zones, and even at the federal level. FEMA is the Federal Emergency Management Association, and they're, in the past, they had old paper maps that they were trying to define these flood zones of what required flood insurance, what didn't require flood insurance for our homeowners. More and more states across the country are going to where they're flying this, it's called LIDAR. It's a spray of laser or reflectant lasers that hit the ground, and they can provide us large scale contour information so that we have a good surface model for what our surfaces are. And what FEMA did was take the DNR's latest was in 2010, and they updated all their FEMA flood maps. And so it kind of restricts that boundary. You know, maybe homeowners used to be in a flood zone. Well, this will restrict it down because we have better accuracy. And it may, some areas may expand out a little bit because the level of accuracy just wasn't there in the past. And so all we do is they provide that information to us, and then we disseminate that out to our partners. So if there's a question about a floodplain, or am I in a zone A, our partners, the city, county, any of those can make those decisions, tell homeowners, well, I mean, you're going to need flood insurance in this area if you build in this area quickly, because it's readily available to them now. They don't have to go dig up the right paper map for this little area of the community. They can look at the whole county in one digital web application at once. So yeah, there's been a lot of, since 2008, actually at the University of Iowa, they started their own hydrologic center, and they're investigating flooding in Iowa drastically. The big floods that happened up in Cedar Rapids that we all heard about, those horror stories, tons of investment has went into that. And they're going to do another round of updated flood maps for the state of Iowa as well, with even more accuracy and different flow models within the communities.
Yeah, I was living in Iowa City during the '08 flood, so that was kind of interesting. And then what was it? Was there another one, probably like early 2010s, that they had another flooding area? Not as bad as the '08 one, but they were well prepared this time for it.
Yeah, they doubled up on them pretty hard, and you know, tons of devastation in the Cedar Rapids area, and even Iowa City.
So when we look at the flood zone map here, is that the pink is the areas of flood zones?
Pink, well, the blue is actually areas of flood zones, so you'll see a lot of it along the Cedar River, mostly lowland areas that we're not worried about building in. The pink is actually where they did a higher accuracy or a higher detailed model for that area. They didn't just pick a contour value and follow that all the way up the river. They actually cut cross sections into the streams so that they can slice up that area. So that just means that they had a higher accuracy level of investigation into that flood zone. You would say that pink area is.
Got it.
Yep.
And of course, when we look at floods, we typically have power outages. So how does the GIS support that?
Well, for power outages, you know, we've worked hard at providing really great real-time information to our teams back in system control, where Ryan his former zone of expertise. So we take everybody that has fiber from MPW in their home actually has a little ONT device at their location inside of their house. One of the things that thing can do is it can send us back a signal back at MPW that it had a dying gas, or dying gas means that they lost power. So if we get three of those ONTs within 5 milliseconds of each other, it actually it initiates an outage, and we all get emails out there that, hey, there's an outage started. The public-facing map that you see here actually updates in real time. It'll automatically throw our customers out there, where not actually down to the house level, but at our transformer level. What of our transformers are out. So it gives you a generalized idea of where the outages are happening within the community.
Yeah, this is just one of the greatest things. And it was a byproduct of the fiber to the home system.
Yeah.
But Mark's team was quick to work with our IT department and build this in-house solution. A lot of utility companies will have like an automated metering system that'll give them feedback. We don't have that. What we have is the dying gas with these ONTs. So what can happen is you'll have a power outage at 2, 3 in the morning. There's not a lot of customers up. We're not getting a lot of phone calls. We may not even hear about the outage until 5 or 6 when people start getting up. With this system, even at 2 in the morning, we get an email. It shows us the affected area with a lot of accuracy and detail, because we have such good penetration of the fiber customers. I think we're in the 77% range. And so
Heard something like 85 the other day.
Oh, 85. I'm not surprised. But you know, you used to sit there and wait for the phone calls and try to figure out where to send the crews. Now you have a picture right in front of you that shows you, is it this phase? Is it this area? Is it to this fuse tap? Is it the whole breaker? Which we would get notification of a breaker trip. But it's just changed the way that we respond to outages, and it shows in our current reliability rates. Currently we're at like a 99.9997. So I mean, we're doing really good, and a lot of that has to do with being able to get our crews to the right place quickly.
Yeah.
And Mark's even put the trucks on the map. We have a Verizon interface which records if there's check engine lights or different maintenance issues. But on that same map where we have the outages, I can see there goes truck 30. So if a customer calls in, how much longer is it going to be? Well, he's 2 blocks away. We have that information now, and it's powerful. It makes work enjoyable.
I like that. Then you're not having to call them and then call back. And you're just talking about the breaker trip. A couple days ago, we lost power, and it was maybe 5 in the morning. I love the fact that Scott was still able to call, and they right away, well, there's nothing, but here's what to do. And they still guided. Now,
Yeah.
I'm sure he knows what to do, but they still took that time and said, okay, here's what you need to do. Boom, boom, and it was back on.
And one great thing is customers could even look at this map and say, oh, they know about this, I don't have to call. But we really appreciate those calls. If you have extra information, if you heard a loud boom or you saw something flash, we still want those calls.
Yep.
But because of the transparency of the information here, it prevents a lot of those calls coming in and kind of plugging up the lines because we already have that information.
Yep.
So it limits it down to just those things that we need.
And how do customers get access to this outage map then?
It's actually on mpw.org.
Okay, so it is on the website.
So there's an outage link, and we also have a flushing map, so it shows you where our crews are actually actively flushing during flushing season.
Okay.
And then this shows you all of our communications or our electrical outage, fiber or electrical outages, all
like
in
that.
one spot here. So your fiber outages would show up in an orange, and the electric show up in a green on here. So yeah, there's an outage link on mpw.org.
There we go. I like that. What else do you have for me, Mark, in regards to helping our customers?
Well, I'm sure one thing that most people within the community have probably used and probably think of, we're the magic behind the scenes, but the Magic Beacon website is probably the most utilized tool within our community by our customers, our citizens within the community, and so that's actually really a small part of what we do, but we support it. But we pay for a hosting fee to Schneider Corporation out of Indianapolis, and they just always had a really great tool as far as property reports go, comprehensive searching capabilities. They did it right, and we've been with them since probably 2004. I think they used to be called ProMap prior to that, and they just always had that really good tie into the county databases down there. And so some of those databases they upload on a nightly basis. We don't have to touch it. On a weekly basis, we take all the geography or all the parcel information. We pull that out of the master, push it over to an area where they can get access to it. And so on a weekly basis, so say you have a property survey done or something like that, once our auditor's office gets that information drawn into our parcel, what I would call the parcel fabric, our digital parcel fabric, we replicate that out to Beacon, and that's when you'll see it update on the Beacon website. So,
Right.
or a house transaction, that kind of information is usually pulled nightly. So 2 to 3 weeks after you do a house closing, hopefully the document's been recorded, and that would be pulled the next night that it's available.
And is this website connected to the MPW website?
I believe MPW does have a link on mpw.org. Most of our partners, city, county, MPW, would all have a link to the Magic Beacon website.
So
for
one-stop shop.
Sure. Yes.
I used it just this weekend to measure my roof. I thought, well, I could climb up there, or I could get on Beacon and with the measurement tools get accurate measurements on my roof.
I'd probably
wonderful.
go safety first and
Yeah.
utilize this.
Me and ladders, not the greatest.
They don't
match.
work well together.
Yeah, that's one nice thing about having a local entity that procures our own imagery is we do have highly accurate aerial imagery. So it's got to follow a certain federal standard when we receive it from our vendors that fly the planes over the community. And our imagery checked in, like Ryan says, we're measuring on his roof, it's within 4 inches. So you can do a horizontal measurement within 4 inches of where something's actually at on the ground.
Wow.
So highly accurate. You're not going to get that from Google Maps. You know, those are not. There's no accuracy standards developed for that type of mapping.
And go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, you think about it for just, I myself use it to look at properties, evaluate values, compare taxes, things like that. But It's great if you're going to put mulch down in your backyard and you want to do a quick calculation of how many yards you need. I mean, it's really valuable.
Am I going to need?
Yeah, hundreds.
And how often does the kind of aerial map get updated?
Every 5 years.
Okay.
We've had discussions of trying to go a little sooner. That's the historical time frame that we've used. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of construction in Muscatine, so we do have needs to have updated imagery as these construction projects are finished.
Yep.
We like to make decisions on updated or current information. So
and it seems like every time they fly it, we get a better and better resolution. I mean,
yeah.
It used to be, I think there's a car there. Now you're like, I think that's a Chevy Nova. I mean, the detail is fantastic on those maps.
So originally we had 6-inch pixels, and now we're down to 1.5 inches in the urban areas. So that's the scale of resolution that we're getting now from a plane flying over about 1,200 feet in the air.
So the next time I want to go, maybe go buy a car, I'm going to go in here, I'm going to look at the lot, maybe, when it's updated.
Yeah.
I'll wait till the next time it's updated and be like, okay, it's my time to buy a car, that I don't have to go over there and look. I will just go onto the Beacon website.
It'll be updated in the spring. We got about when you're flying aerial imagery, you have about a 3-week window. So it's late March, the 3rd week of March to early April, and it's got to be completely leaf off, no snow cover, no flooding. It's tough to do a lot of times, but we've been fortunate. We've had some really good imagery projects, and so another coordinated effort or economies of scale is those projects that we do with Bi-State, because we have a large region with Scott County, Rock Island County, and so we're always trying to get more and more counties to join in because it reduces our overall cost.
Yep. So you do all of Muscatine, and then you said also Scotland too?
Nope, just on the imagery projects.
Okay, got it.
Yep, and that's coordinated through Bi-State, which is a regional cog up out of the Rock Island area.
There we go. Nice. I like this. A lot of information, a lot of magic, and like you said,
it's kind
it fits
of the team
perfectly
behind the scenes, you know.
And I think we all need to know that. I mean, we see it. When you go online, you see it, but you don't know what it is until you truly have someone talk to you about what all of it breaks down into. I mean, you have the road information, you have the sewer system, the flood zones, you have the housing, and also the utility outage. There's more than just, maybe people think it's just roads.
And I'll be honest, that's just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, we could do a couple hours on this topic in the way that we've leveraged it, but the important thing is I just love sharing what we have, because if somebody else can learn from that or copy it, it's just a way to share good ideas. So thanks for having us today.
Thank you. I love all this information, and it was the perfect theme with my magic day.
Yeah.
It just it works well
I heard the
together.
intro.
Yes, and the magic just happened today, and it was perfect. So thank you, gentlemen, again for coming on, and Ryan, thank you for bringing someone with you again. So I can't wait until next month to learn more. I always love learning. I think the last one that you were on for about the energy comb blinds, that was a perfect one, and I went and actually replaced some of my blinds.
Oh, nice.
That week. I was like, we have to get these, and Scott's like, why? And so I told him, here's why. It's perfect. Well, thank you again. I love all this information. So everything on here is found on the MPW website and also on their Facebook. I think you guys do a great job on keeping people up to date, not only on the website, but also in the social media world. So thank you for doing all of this. I love this. It's great. So remember, today is the GMCCI ribbon cutting event for the Family Eye Center that's taking place at 5:30 this evening. And if you and your kids, especially if you're a millennial and you love the Harry Potter world, bring your kids, have some fun. You don't even need to bring your kids, just go and have fun. Live out your childhood dreams of being a wizard or witch, and go to West Hill Cakery today from 9 to 4. Until then, Muscatine, stay happy and healthy, and I will see you tomorrow.
Muscatine.
My name is Logan, and I'm from Muscatine.
Here at Total Muscatine, we believe in investing in our community.
And that's why all our members are local to the Muscatine area.
It's why we give generously to charities based in our city.
Because we believe that giving back means paying it forward.
That's why an investment in us is an investment in our community.